That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me Fuck all that shit, just let me go. Owers and tastemakers make us no chaser. Gets the blood flowing like a fucking pacemaker. Cut the middleman and inhale the vapors. Madman, old 10 Don Drapers. Cut the jukebox on, make the woofers blow. We gon' sit here until all them heifers go. Holler at the tens and spend a little dough. Not on them, no, they can buy their own drinks. That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me fuck all that shit, just let me
go. 2,766 days. That is how long it has been since WWE Royal Rumble 2014. That is how long it has been since the last time a certain polarizing figure was spotted in a wrestling ring. That is how long we have waited to hear this man's thoughts on everything that has happened to him since that fateful day. Last night, August 20th, 2021, the world trembled beneath his feet. And now, almost 24 hours later, we're still shook.
Damn right. Just when you think you have the answer, Noah, CM Punk comes in and changes the culture.
Oh my good God Almighty! What a time for professional wrestling to be brought back into the echelons of its critically passion that has been missing for the last 20 years. What a time to be alive. What a time to be a wrestling fan. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to the Wrestling Rundown. I am the Simple Man. My name is Noah Foster. I'm back with the Energy Force crew, and we are here to bring you everything possible in all things professional wrestling. Keyword, professional wrestling, because that is what we are talking about here only. And with that being said, I'm going to talk it around to the crew here, starting off with, of course, leader, founder, creator of WYW Wrestling, and, of course, FW Productions. James, it's good to see you again, man. It's been a long time. How are you feeling, especially since last night? You still can't believe it's real, but he is on the All Elite roster page.
Holy shit, man. I swear to God, I never thought I'd see this day. I predicted the fucking thing, and I'm shocked, dude. I swear to God, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect it to be this soon, especially. Fucking hell, man. Unbelievable.
I mean, you kind of consumed most of your energy last night in our AEW Zoom post-show chat.
Oh, trust me, bro. My energy has not gone down. I don't know what you're talking about. My energy's been up since then.
You just seem short on words. But again, how do you fabricate what we saw and felt last night, let alone with the 15,000
fucking groundbreaking. There's no other word to say it. Groundbreaking. This is what this was. Groundbreaking.
I'm pretty sure United Center is going to need to get a building inspection for their foundation. Pretty sure that a lot of stuff was shaken, and I'm worried about the next time that building has people in that place.
What happened to the bolts of the United Center? Why did they crumble to the ground? CM Punk. Who the fuck's that? Shows him the video. Shows him the video. One guy did that?
Yep. And his entrance and his story is still the #1 and #2 most trending video in all of YouTube.
What?
You heard me
Are you
right.
fucking serious in the world?
You heard me right. In the world. You heard me
Oh
right.
my god.
And
Number
#2.
1 was his return. Second one was his in-ring promo.
That's
Oh
right. And speaking
my-
of which, Lionheart, Mike Nichols, good to see you again, man. How are you and how have you been feeling ever since last night?
Honestly, man, I'm not shocked. I expected this to happen because the timing of this was just right. Coming back to Chicago to a standing ovation. Fucking
And rightly
hundreds,
so.
Yeah.
thousands of people cheering his name what seemed like forever. Finally answers the call after all this time. It nearly brought a tear to my eye.
It
I don't
did
cry
bring a tear,
easily.
bro.
And that
It did.
moment of seeing pure elation and pure ecstasy in that moment when he kneels on the ground, tears in his eyes, tears in the fans' eyes, it just shows one word makes up for that entire experience. Iconic.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you got Sting, who was also trending on AEW a couple months
Oh
back,
my fucking god. Yeah, we'll get to that. But do me a favor, Nikos. Before you continue, please, by all means, do what you need to do.
Okay, so, just to lecture y'all, I was a huge CM Punk fan until after he retired Jeff Hardy back in 07, I think it was 07. And later, he started ascending to a path where he was slowly becoming the best in the world, to the moment where this shirt is my only WWE merchandise of a shirt that I've ever bought. And ever since they treated him like shit, up until 2014, where they, quote-unquote, accidentally fired him on his wedding day,
Yeah.
and now seeing him on AEW with a smile on his face, the biggest smile on his face. Like, I have not seen him smile that hard since he won the WWE Championship in 2011. So, that just goes to show you just how ecstatic he is joining into this company. And whereas the shirt comes into play, well, since now he's representing a company that actually treats him better, there's just one thing I gotta do. So, I'll see this right here. I'm gonna bring it up to camera. Y'all see this?
Yes.
Good. You're not going to
Watch
see
this.
it for much longer.
Watch this.
There it fucking goes. Yeah! Hey, Vince! Hey, Vince!
Yeah!
Fuck you! Fuck you! Goddamn right!
Well, I did say this is a form about professional wrestling, and if anyone who watches this knows anything about the difference of professional wrestling, what's been seen in the last 20 years, then you know exactly why this gentleman did just that. With that being said, talking
Oh,
about
you
executing,
want further proof of the state of the WWE?
Oh.
It's like this.
Hanging on by a
By a
thread,
thread.
motherfucker, and their
Not
friend is
even
their
a thread.
financial gang. Hope
When
that
it
blood
comes-
money was worth it, you fucking prick.
all
I
right,
really hope it was fucking worth it.
All right, well,
Anyway.
before we go into a pipe bomb scenario talking about Puncher or Darkin, let's go ahead and talk about the executioner, giving his thoughts to what you guys are basically calling the death toll of that very company. So with that being said, Michael X, it's good to see you again, sir. How have you been these last 24 hours regarding what happened last night in the United Center?
I'll tell you, very quickly. I'd love to be the fly on the Vince McMahon wall the moment he sits there in his office chair, leaning back and going, fuck, 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 fuck!
And then, meanwhile, USA and Fox, they're literally on his shoulders like,
What happened? What happened to you?
did you do wrong?
You know, I'm going to say this as a piece of information that I think is important. Back in the day, a gentleman named JBL gave himself the title of the wrestling god. Today, we have seen a legend return that was so... which is going to be such an important moment in human history. That is so important and so fucking, like, groundbreaking and earth-shattering that I hope one day, just one day, somebody could ever top it. We talk about the Road Warriors doing their shit.
We talk about Austin doing his shit.
We have Austin doing this shit. We have all these people making their return. But it is hilarious to me, at least, that two of the biggest pops I've ever heard in my life are A, Grado winning the ICW World Heavyweight Championship from Drew McIntyre.
I remember that.
And the second one being CM Punk returning to Chicago, Illinois.
In the United Center, by the way.
At the United Center.
The old Rosemont Horizon. Still got that wood roof, I believe. I'd love to know how that sounded to CM Punk. To have the crowd literally on top of him like that.
The same place Michael Jordan's number was retired.
And the same place Bret Hart and Steve Austin had arguably the most awesome match in WrestleMania history.
And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it the same place where Punk won the WWE title in the first place?
I believe it is, yes.
You are correct, sir.
So,
it's like poetry, so it could rhyme.
There you go, Mike.
I love how we're again. I love how we go back to describing professional wrestling the same way as Star Wars. It just rhymes.
Casey, I have no idea what you're talking. Casey, no idea what you're talking about. That's fucking crazy.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. It's so
no
dumb.
idea. No idea.
Clue.
Like what? Casey, I have no idea what you're talking about. All right. I want you to. I want you to hear me out. You just have no fucking idea of like how things are structured.
Not a freaking clue. Looks over at my blue ass. No idea. Looks over at my blue ass lightsaber in the other side of the room.
I have a toy lightsaber somewhere too.
Oh Lord.
Anyway,
James, you're editing. James, you're editing this video. James, you're editing this video, right?
Yep.
Before we get into a lightsaber battle,
wait, Mike, you were actually saying too, because we kind of cut you off there.
Yeah, the Sith and the Jedi were colliding while we were talking about professional wrestling. Let's get back on point. Michael, continue your case.
The only thing that I have to say is he came back with the song where he truly is a cult of personality.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, I always preferred, and sorry for cutting you off, by the way, I always preferred This Fire Burns.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But man, there was no other theme to come out to. I'm not even convinced that would have been the right choice.
I have to agree. Based on the moment, based on the atmosphere, based on the build, the lights blinking red and white, and that CM Punk chant continuing to ignite in volume until finally the music hit and the man walked out of that tunnel and took it in. But I could talk about it all night. There's still one other person we have to get thoughts from before we really get into this week in professional wrestling. While we're already talking about the end of the week. The upper class icon and my fellow New Japan Pro Wrestling correspondent, and we will be talking about G1 Climax 31 when that field is made. Luke Lawrence, or as people call you, Casey. How you been, and what's been your thoughts these last 24 hours since the moment at Rampage that CM Punk returned to professional wrestling?
Nikos talked earlier about Punk's promo nearly bringing a tear to his eye. I can sum up the whole situation with the one line that did bring a tear to my eye. August 13th, 2005, CM Punk left professional wrestling. August 20th, 2021, exactly 16 years and 1 week later, he's back.
Would you call his time period in WWE prison?
Yes.
If you ask Dustin Rhodes, yes.
He inadvertently basically told you he was a broken man spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. The sickness that brought him literally in the same spot where he first loved. He didn't know how he could recover from that, or could he ever recover from that. To the point, he tried these other different options. The sports show on Fox, Just Talking. UFC, where he literally got knocked the F out in his very first and only match. All these little podcasts he's been doing with Star Wars and other things too. But nothing could fill that void of what he once loved, which was professional wrestling. And over the last 2 years, literally, keeping tabs, subtly teasing this idea of maybe, just maybe, professional wrestling can be my true love once again. It had to be the right circumstance, the right environment, the right time, the right venue. And here we are less than 24 hours later talking about it literally becoming a reality. CM Punk is back in professional wrestling.
And
how do you feel that the gentleman served I can't believe I'm about to say this, a prison life sentence outside of actual professional wrestling? Because you said for 2005, right? And 16 years later? 16 years later to the day?
16 years and 1 week later to the day.
That is right.
Well, based upon the prison structure of the United States and with good behavior, yeah, he served a life sentence in a maximum security penitentiary known as the WWE.
Mentally, absolutely, yeah.
With very slim possibility of early parole.
Oh, and by the way, I'm totally doing this to piss off the WWE fanboys that are fucking like, no, the fact that he's like, why would we ever want Punk to ever go there? Are you out of your fucking mind? He's one of the greatest athletes of all time. He should be there. And I sit there and say, no, he didn't want to just be a guy that's from Chicago. He wanted to become all elite.
Yep. Amen.
When he came to the WWE, the first thing Vince and the others looked at him, they said, "Oh, you're that guy, Punk, right? Oh, just do some flippy shit. I don't give a shit. Just do what you want."
The CM,
how did that work out?
The CM stands for Chicago's Master.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, Adam Blampied, you listen? You listening in? Phase 6 of CM Punk just began. There you go. Chicago's Master Punk.
The first ever time you will ever see the CM pop.
Yeah. That's the new pop standard, bro.
Yeah, we're not gonna find or feel, I think, something truly like that with that type of professional wrestler, I feel like, ever again. And if anything, the post-media scrum where literally CM Punk and Tony Khan were sitting next to each other, and Tony was just literally just as giddy as a fan at heart, but just as reactive.
He looked like a little kid.
He looked like a fucking kid, bro.
Yeah, he's not like a glorified businessman.
I'm gonna say this to both knock him, but also praise him at the same time. He's an absolute mark, and I fucking love him for it. Absolutely love him for it,
He's a professional wrestling fan that has brought forth a professional wrestling company that has reignited lapsed love for professional wrestling in fans and wrestlers alike.
Yep.
Oh, the whole reason for AEW was to bring in Punk.
That's
literally what WrestleMania reported on.
It was. There was no doubt in my mind. That was the whole idea. Was I don't care what it takes. I am. You guys realize Punk's gonna probably be the final executive to the puzzle, right?
Yeah, he makes the most sense.
Yeah, no shit.
And it's funny because he's back in a company where he can finally work with and have, an actual fucking good time with his close buddy and friend Colt Cabana again.
Well, again, he says he's there just to have fun and really, he might wear all hats, but he just wants to have fun and really work with this roster, this youthful, just wide variety of super excited, fun, loving professional wrestling talent.
You no longer have a 70-year-old man at the top of your company's fucking branch now. You have a 30, almost 40-year-old gentleman who understands that wrestling needs to constantly be fresh.
Right.
Also
And-
understands that you are a human being and not a mindless robot doing the most impossible tasks for the most idiotic and stupid reasons.
And
He also understands if circumstances come up that you can't compete for a reason, he's not going to hold it against you, and he will try and find a way to still bring something that the fans or the opponent can still work with. We've seen how many times during the pandemic Tony Khan impromptu on the fly.
Oh my god, dude.
and
No question.
he understands that to reignite a lapsed passion, you need to play to what ignites that passion in the first place. Yes, sometimes it takes a ridiculous amount of money, but sometimes all it takes is having a crop of talent that would make a guy like CM Punk want to come back. Do you have any idea how many
Casey's talking about WYW. If you can't see, he's using WYW as an example. Did I mention that you should watch, like, and subscribe WYW? Don't forget to comment Big Chungus. Big Chungus.
Yes, looking at you, Ace Romero. Anyway,
I do have to. Do you guys mind if I jump into this real quick as well?
No.
Oh, absolutely. Then we'll talk about all other things, professional wrestling, because we're talking about the end of this past week.
Oh no, we're gonna hold on, because I don't want to hop off this just yet, because there's a lot going on. Trust me, but I'm going to bring this up as well. After Punk's initial thing, people say it's just two people he put over, right? It's, Britt Baker, Darby Allin. There's others he put over. Everybody that fucking followed him after. Because people that are tuning into AEW for the first time stayed throughout this whole damn show. Because they got what they wanted. They got what they wanted, and they're like, this is actually good. And it took that one guy. I've been saying this. And by the way, in light of, you even reported on this, Noah, that the Nielsen box, or somebody in your group reported this, that the Nielsen box is finally going to get a revamp to include streaming numbers. Those numbers, you now have to double whatever the fuck it is. So that means that...
James,
James,
you're going to have to take your number, and instead of going for 2, you're going to have to go for 3.
Probably, yeah. You may have to triple.
Based upon a rough estimation, it looks like it might be a 3 to a 3.5 additional number crunch.
Yeah.
On top of what's already there.
Nielsen's already been completely irrelevant anyway, so when you really break it down and how much fucking... You're telling me that the Nielsen rating, whatever the hell it is going to be, it's not even up to date. Look at Twitter. Look at ESPN covering this shit. Look at everywhere else. YouTube still has a trending number 1 and 2 right now. This shit, Dynamite, Rampage, everybody's looking forward to Wednesday now. They want to hear more of what Punk has to say. This shit is boosting AEW. Its credibility has just fucking skyrocketed. They may have to move the venue to All Out. There's rumors they may move it to the fucking United Center because there's that much demand to be here. It's ridiculous!
Like I said, he's got the time for Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He has the time. And we're here for it.
Dude,
damn right we're here for it.
Wait, Nikos, do you know what time it is?
May I, Mike?
Hang on, I have to draw new batteries for this.
Well, to be fair, that climbing time will occur December 5th because, as you said, he not only acknowledged the roster and immediately put over Britt Baker, but he looked up to one Darby Allin, and you guys saw the camera cuts. Darby Allin is beyond hype for this. That man was smiling.
He was
could not contain his excited smile. He could not contain himself.
He was grinning like the fucking Cheshire Cat.
Think of the two people. Think of the two people Darby's associated with right now. He just associated with Sting and Punk.
Yeah,
He was in the rafters with Sting. This segment, I don't give a fuck what anybody wants to tell me. I've seen it all. I'm a fucking historian. Fuck you, Cornette, for telling me you're a fucking historian. Eat shit. I'm a fucking historian. I love this goddamn industry. I fucking breathe this goddamn industry. I fucking crave this damn industry. I've seen it all. I've been through it all, okay? This segment right here, from the beginning of Rampage all the way to the end of this fucking segment, was the best fucking allotted time dedicated to pro wrestling ever. Ever. Home run on every fucking front.
And that's not even talking about what it set up for the future. We've got, as I keep saying, we've got so many dream encounters, and we're getting the first one September 5th. CM Punk versus Darby fucking Allin. Yes! Pay my fucking money, Tony Khan!
Let's go. Go
on the BR.
Who's next?
Go on the BR Live app. Go buy that pay-per-view.
So, really quick, I talked to James prior to this call about my prediction that will happen in AEW. Maybe not this year, maybe next year, maybe a few months down the line. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen. But if you're AEW and you want to give the fans something that's fucking out there, give them the WrestleMania match with Punk we never got to see.
Daniel Bryan.
No,
Bryan Danielson.
No.
Not even Bryan Danielson.
There's one match.
Wait, no, James, I got you. Who?
Bryan Danielson, actually, because we gotta wait for the final countdown.
What?
Bryan Danielson.
Oh, sorry, hang on. We have to address him in his proper name. First nickname, then name.
No. Boys, you're not getting it. You're not getting it.
You're not getting it. What?
All right, now y'all are being crazy. Come on.
No.
Come on.
You know who else thought I was crazy? You know who else thought I was crazy, Noah? Everyone else that said Big Show wasn't going to go. I predicted Big Show was going to go. Everybody said Mark Henry was going to go. Everybody said Mark Henry wasn't going to go to AEW. He went there. Christian Cage, nobody thought he would sign with AEW. He signed with AEW. Now Punk's in AEW. 3 WWE lifers and one person who said he was never going to come back to wrestling are now on the same fucking brand. You're telling me that if they get CM Punk, they can't get Stone Cold Steve Austin and book this match that we never ever got? Not to mention the fact, by the way, this dude has just gotten through stem cell therapy. That's the same therapy that Sting had. That's the same therapy that Edge had. And he's in the best shape of his fucking life. You're telling me that Punk is now not in the plans to take the belt from Omega, because you know they're going to now. That's the direction, and you know that's a call from Adam Page. I don't care what anybody wants to fucking tell me. Sue me, okay? He goes all the way into next year's All Out, and they book this main event?
James.
First off, you need to calm down before you have a blood vessel. I'm not saying.
Well, I mean,
in this era.
Hold on. Casey first.
Calm down, people. Casey, you're trying to touch James. You plead your case.
Well, more so to the general IWC.
Oh Lord.
This man has predicted 3 WWE Hall of Famers and a guy who got so burned that he swore off wrestling permanently.
Wait, Casey, pause.
No.
Casey, pause.
Mike, shut the fuck up for a second. I need to get this out.
Yeah, let him get it out, Mike.
Let people speak one at a time. Casey can
You are gonna sit there and try and say that this autistic fuck in the red button-up doesn't know his shit!
Oh, I know my shit. I'm confident in saying that, man. I've seen it all, man. I've seen it all.
Don't forget, we've predicted Braun Strowman leaving. We have predicted the AEW fucking game months before it was ever talked about, and got the fucking developers down, Pat. Dude,
with the except the NetherRealm.
AEW Impact merger.
Hey, Pandora.
Say what you will about this autistic fuck down, well, wherever he ends up in the final recording. Where I'm seeing that he's below me and slightly to my video's left.
That's great.
Yeah, that's about right.
You're gonna tell me that this autistic fuck down here doesn't know what he's talking about? Get Vince's cock out of your mouth, or whoever else you might be sucking on. and listen to when this man speaks.
I appreciate the support, and I appreciate James' passion, because again, as professional wrestling fans, that is what has truly been reborn in so many people and wrestlers alike. It just goes back to that point of what AEW is trying to do for the industry. The bottom line, last night, a change happened, and this change is going to have worldwide impact, no pun intended, on the professional wrestling industry. So you all better buckle up and tune in and find out what's going on in professional wrestling.
Because
there's never been a better time to be a fan.
There's never been a better time to be a fan. You are in for the ride of your lives.
Oh, you ain't
Buckle
kidding.
up.
And by the way, thank you very much for that defense, Casey, because I'm glad I'm not the one who has to fucking say it, because sometimes I wonder if people think I'm fucking crazy.
Well, James, here's the thing.
I called this shit, man. I've called a lot of this shit.
You are a fan of your own right. We all are fans of our own right. It's what you believe, though, that's most important to you is what matters.
Yeah.
Nobody can define your judgment but yourself. If you don't believe in yourself and what you're saying, then you got issues. That only is further helped by those that support you. So again, as we're all here together, we respect you, man, and your heart and your overall outlook for the business.
And
So
may I
want
to pass a question to everybody, by the way.
Go for it.
When did it hit you that this was real? Seriously, when did it hit you?
I'm going to start with the guy that's in the CM Punk shirt, no longer associated with the brand. You may go first.
I remember Punk was on the, I can't remember what I think it was on Renee podcast channel, where he says, you know, AEW has a lot of talent that I should have worked with 10 years ago because I hated working with the same guys over and over again. I like to work with guys like, I don't know, the Young Bucks or Darby Allin or Kenny Omega, like someone new. And hey, AEW is the hottest attraction right now, so maybe I'll join, maybe I'm not. And at that moment, oh yeah, he's fucking going there. Because what's he got to go back to? UFC? Which I will say, even though it doesn't matter anymore, his loss record in UFC has been expunged to a draw, which, again, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, nor should anyone care about it. And he could go back to Ring of Honor, but that whole farewell video, I think it just cements his legacy in Ring of Honor as that's his storybook ending. He's ready to move on to something else. Honestly, before he was on the Renee Young podcast, I thought he was going to go to New Japan, honestly, because I feel like he would have fared better there considering of what they got there that's insurmountably more than what AEW has to offer. But then AEW has been rising to the occasion ever since, like, I have to say, like, since their debut on the network. Since then, CM Punk started to get attracted to the idea of what it was made for. It's not about the initial wrestling. Well, actually it is, but it's never about what corporate wants you to do.
Right.
It's about one thing and one thing only. It's what you want to do.
Absolutely.
It puts the sport back on track instead of being monitored constantly, day in, day out, forced under the restrictions, forced under these stupid, like, ideas, storylines, and you don't get any freedom in it.
I think
now,
Nico, sorry to cut you off. Nico,
Go ahead.
sorry to cut you off. I think we can sum it up best with this one simple sentence. AEW booking, from everything I've seen over the past 2 years, seems to work like this. Hey guys, here's the broad strokes of the story we want to tell. We want to hit this point, this point, this point, and this point, and we want to end up here. The rest is up to you guys.
That's exactly it. You
honestly, AEW has become the point where instead of having the decision be made by the executives, they do something that I never thought possible what they would do. They ask the fans what they want, and they deliver.
Yep.
Unlike WWE that constantly gives you 5 billion rematch clauses because they got nothing better to go on.
To add to that point, you also got to consider this. The creative process. Not only is it individually driven, but it is literally wrestling driven. Professional wrestling is the focal point of everything in AEW, driven by professional wrestlers themselves. It is not choreographed or scripted by writers that are about cinema, drama, action, thrills, fear, and adventure with no aspect of professional wrestling. This company strictly focuses on professional wrestling at the forefront and adds those elements as needed only, which is why we got Arcade Anarchy, a weird wedding, a freaking parking lot fight, not brawl, and so many more instant one-time classics that have made AEW a standout in the professional wrestling industry, unlike anything we've ever seen before in our lives.
And we will continue to see, by the way.
Or if you want to throw Stadium Stampede in there,
that too.
Yeah, and
I'm pretty sure that's going to be back next year too. I'm just waiting to see what sort of feud comes about. But
well, let me ask you, Nikos, was that the moment then, Renee Paquette? That's when you realized this was real?
That was that moment when he started thinking about AEW as like he set his sights on it. I'm like, oh yeah, he's going, because where else could he go?
Mike, I'm going to save you.
Go ahead. I love the fact that his first match is going to be against Darby. That has been my dream match ever since he started mentioning AEW. I'm like, I want him to fight Darby.
Really?
Because Darby's the hottest guy they got now.
Yeah.
This little guy right here sells, delivers, and wrestles unlike anybody we've ever seen before. He will throw his body into chaos to put something over and to push himself forward.
He's the new Mick Foley.
Yeah.
He truly is.
Yeah, he really is.
Less thumbtack Foley.
Yes.
Just
throws
himself. Well, I mean, Foley didn't use thumbtacks all the time until WWF. Remember?
No, I know, but still, it's like less
deathmatch.
Japanese. Less deathmatch Foley, which means not safer Foley, but not as destroyed as Foley.
Right.
He's got similar vibes of a Mick Foley, but he's not that Mick Foley nor any of the three faces. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, which really quick, Nikos, to piggyback off of something you said. He can work. He works in AEW. That means that he can work in any fucking company in the world now.
Right, but to go
he can work anywhere.
But
if he's told that, hey, I want you to go work the G1. If he's told, hey, can you go to Impact, do some plug here? Hey, can you go to AAA and do commentary there? He'll do it.
AEW has become the gateway now.
It truly is. It is the gateway.
So you know what?
I
said this years ago, and it holds to a T now. This company is if ECW had funding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
I cannot argue
this
that.
is if ECW had the broadcast backing, the billions of dollars, a Ted Turner style person in their pocket that fucking loves the business as much as he does, somebody who genuinely gives a shit and is willing to say, hey, Kenny, you're the greatest athlete in the fucking world at the moment. Yeah, we're going to send you to AAA, New Japan. You're going to have the fucking AEW world title. You're going to hold 5 world titles at one time. Why? Because that's how wrestling should be. There should be one fucking champion that you can stand there on top of everybody going, all right, who's going to refute that I'm not the greatest of all time right now?
And
because I didn't.
Yep.
Because I didn't work in the fucking Fed? Because I decided not to fucking sign my soul away to the Fed? Yeah.
And more importantly, which of you bitches has the balls to come after even one of my titles?
And I have to also bring it back to Punk here, because despite everything that you guys said, everything what you guys said is true. I'm sure a lot of people had that itch that it was going to happen. This was my mentality.
I'm about to say,
I'll
Jason,
believe it when I see it.
You asked the question. Nichols basically pontificated on it. Casey and Michael and I have basically just supported. So yeah, man, you're the one that has it.
Definitely.
Bring them all to you.
I literally predicted that he was going to be there, but I didn't think it was going to be this soon, number one. Number two, there was a part of me that also really, really thought, and I didn't mention this when I predicted it, that he was possibly never going to return to wrestling again. Like, and I was around the time, and I think this was done by design. I think if this would have happened if they had the crowd in the building or not. Revolution, when everybody thought Punk was going to debut then, but it was Christian Cage instead. I think that was done by design now because it threw you off. It literally fucked with me because I'm like, wait, he would have debuted by now, right? That's what fucked with me because if there was a crowd or not, he would have debuted there. That's what was my head was going, right? And I thought to myself, he may never show up. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna wait, and I'll believe it when I see it. And so the rumors started coming out. I thought there was going to be like a formal announcement, kind of like how Hulk Hogan signed with WCW and they had that scroll. No. It was just on a whim, a thought.
Because
I didn't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. And then they started doing the blinking lights. Red and white with the CM Punk chants. That was the moment I said, holy fuck, this is real.
Yep.
And I lost my fucking shit when Cult of Personality fucking played through the PA system.
And
then it turns
out of the tunnel.
And then it turns out the whole time it was never CM Punk. It was Chris Candido in a CM Punk mask.
That would be funny.
That would have been hilarious.
Oh,
God bless Chris Candido, but
there would have been a riot, to be fair. But I get what you're
Dude, there
saying.
was the funniest comment I saw before the thing actually happened was, best in the world, CM Punk comes out to introduce the real best in the world, Bryan Danielson, who introduces the real best in the world, Billy Gunn. Johnny fucking...
Hey, always remember, man, he is the one. Never forget it.
Above all.
The chosen one.
Casey, after you.
Yeah.
Casey, after you.
Back to you, Casey.
No, when
when did it come real to you?
When, funnily enough, when the commentary team started talking after he was walking down the ramp.
Wow, really? It didn't sink in until he was already on the ramp?
Not even when he was on the ramp, when the commentary team started talking.
Before he showed up.
No.
Oh,
He had
James.
He had just started to walk down the ramp.
Wow.
Once I heard Excalibur's voice, or whoever it was,
It was Excalibur.
That's when it hit me. Mother of God.
CM Punk is back.
The landscape is forever changed.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you guys. I'm not one to fall on the line of rumors, conspiracies, or theories. I see it to believe it. With my ATW crew on Zoom, we watched on as we heard the chants, saw the lights, and then I hear the music. I see the fucking man himself. That's when I knew it was fucking real.
Yeah, dude.
And here's the thing about this, because I want to go back to the point you were going to, James, about preserving this, making it feel as big as possible. They didn't hide him in a limo. They didn't hide him in a hoodie. They didn't even preserve this. It was out there. It was the worst kept secret. And CM Punk and Tony Khan wanted it that way because at the end of the day, CM Punk just wanted to feel organically welcome back because at the end of the day, he's not just a pro wrestler. He is a fan. AEW brought him back to be a fan. And then the professional wrestling brought him back to what he loved truly. It was this moment in time and environment and setup, 2 years plus in the making, that brought CM Punk back to professional wrestling.
And if I'm not much mistaken, I think I heard them allude on the media scrum.
You're right.
That had it not been for the pandemic, this might have happened way sooner.
Exactly, because CM Punk had to feel it. You saw it in the man's eyes. He was about to break down and cry. He said he needed to feel it. You could tell how
he did tear up. He did tear up.
He did, literally, okay? Let's keep in mind, this guy is like, what, in his 40s, in his 40s, too. And this 43. Is how special CM Punk is to professional wrestling, industry. We are never going to feel or see anything like that, I feel, ever again. But
Here's
last
another-
night proved one thing. Change is here, it's happening, and it is bringing back professional wrestling.
I'm going to have Mike go last and explain when it hit him, but I want to explain what I need to explain here. Think of all the shit that the wrestling fan had to go through between the time Punk left the WWE and when he showed up here in AEW. Awful storylines, shit getting shoved down their throats, fucking goddamn awful political goddamn garbage, so much IRL tragedies, a pandemic, all of this. And we got through to the other side. I think that is, you'd be remiss not to bring all that up. Especially considering the fact that I think Chicago went through some trade bullshit that was not leaving the Chicago people happy. So they needed this. They needed this.
Everybody needed this. In a world that is full of chaos, corruption, depression, and moments that you really question yourself in your life, professional wrestling fans were brought back into that golden moment of hope, happiness, and delight last night when CM Punk arrived to professional wrestling after 16 years.
I want to pass it to Mike finally. When did it hit you, bro?
Yeah, when did it hit you, Mike? Mike Nichols did. Michael X. When did it hit you?
Well, I'll give you a hint when it hit me. Oh, that's when the batteries give up. It is
When
honestly the
fuck.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So you and I had the same fucking time when we realized, wow, this is actually happening.
The red and white lights flashing, and you were just waiting in anticipation as the crowd were chanting. And then the graphic appeared throughout the arena, and the music hit. And then the man walked out of the tunnel, and Excalibur introduced him. And we just took it in.
I think it's also the fact that the name of the pay-per-view is called Rampage.
Or no, the name of the TV show. This was on TNT.
This was on
Dude,
TNT.
I know. But let's be honest, it totally feels like a pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, the way they built this up, fuck yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the AEW product at times on Wednesday nights feels like free pay-per-view television. This past Wednesday was a prime example of that, when you consider everything they built towards not only next week and CM Punk, but All Out.
By the way, Mike, you can keep the light on, and it actually does better lighting anyway, so don't worry.
No, I know. I was just trying to dim it a little bit on my end. But
just go ahead.
If you know CM Punk's history, CM Punk is a huge fucking Midway fan. So it's a little ironic. It's a little ironic that CM Punk shows up in Chicago, Illinois at a special event known as Rampage.
Wow, that's apropos
Is
shit,
is he George or Ralph, do you think?
He's the lizard.
He's the lizard. Even I know that. The bottom line, though, in this, we close this topic.
Because he's been an 8-year-long slippery fucker.
CM Punk, welcome back.
And welcome back, bro.
You
Mazel tov.
You have been missed.
In more ways than anybody can comprehend.
Yes, I am aware that Brock Lesnar debuted at SummerSlam. My point still stands because after he fights Bobby Lashley, there is nothing left for Brock Lesnar to realistically do unless you actually decide to book a program between him and Keith Lee and him and Matt Riddle, which I doubt is ever going to fucking happen unless it's in another company. So, my point stands. After the Lashley thing, Brock's done with the WWE. I would highly go after him. With that said, I'm going to use this opportunity to take a break from here since I'm editing this podcast. When we come back, we're going to be talking about all the happenings of professional wrestling, including what happened at Triple Mania, what happened at New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence, or Emergence. No, Impact Emergence, so it's a Resurgence, yeah. All the indie stuff, that we're definitely going to cover it. It's going to happen right after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere. The following announcement has been paid for by the Indie Force Podcast.
This is podcasting like you've never seen it before. In 2019, Michael X won the Wrestling Rundown Predictions Championship, taking the wrestling world by storm. When the virus attacked, these four individuals would create a podcast to talk about the nerdiest shit on the internet, filmed in the Massachusetts underground. They talk about everything from professional wrestling, YouTube, mixed martial arts, movies, comic books, tabletop, video games, anime, social media, content creation, and everything in between. Watch the Indie Force on the J. Hebert Studios channel now and subscribe today. The following announcement has been paid for by the Indie Force Podcast.
Do you think you have what it takes to cut the greatest promo in professional wrestling history? Step through the ropes, pick a gimmick, and know your role. The Ring Scoops Wrestling card game is the ultimate pro wrestling fan party game. Draw cards at random, use your creativity, and cut a promo on your opponent while the audience cheers. The Ring Scoops card game.
Available now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Indie Force fans of all ages. I am Luke Lynch, Commander of the Legion, and if you have not already, check out my adventure vlog series over on my channel. Grant you, it's not the most often updated series. It's definitely far from frequently updated. But when it is updated, it's good times, geeky, nerdy, and fun times all around with cool geeks from all walks of life. For example, YouTubers, content creators, Twitch streamers, you name it, I've got it, all on The Adventures of Luke Lynch, which you can find on my channel. Subscribe, like, comment, watch, share, do the whole thing under the umbrella of For the Win Productions. Future James, take it away with that outro.
A Table from Hell with the Psycho Asylum. An Iron Man match of factorial proportions. Man.
In this fight, I will melt you down to slag.
Versus Machine.
I calculate a 0.85% chance that you will win in your current condition.
All Metal Mayhem. Colleen Horizon.
When you throw me into the wolves, I will return leading the pack.
Vera McGarden.
And I'll do anything to be the warrior on top.
For the Athena title, best friends turned bitter rivals. Johnny Star.
Don't get in the way of the star or you'll get burned.
James, the Archangel.
I'm the real star of this brand.
For the international title, the Outsider, Mark Young. The Executioner, Michael X. For the WYW World Heavyweight title. 2 out of 3 fall.
Inside.
In a hell in a cell. WYW Immortal. Now available on YouTube.
But that was only one thing that happened this past week in professional wrestling, and continue to enjoy and embrace this era that we've been endured, where companies big and small, going up to the NWA, Impact Wrestling, NJPW, GCW, PWG, you name it, independent wrestling promotion, like Dale Garcia representing the Independent Wrestling Championship all over the place, being part of AEW. So much has happened this past week in professional wrestling. Let's start back last week on Saturday, where we had 2 great wrestling shows that were groundbreaking in their own right. So, First off, we had Triple Mania, Mexico's prime, let's just call it their WrestleMania. And we have marquee matches, including the tag team champions being defended with Vlad Tarus and Brian Cage taking on Laredo Kid and Heel, taking on the champions themselves with one hell of a homecoming, the Lucha Brothers, which the Lucha Brothers successfully retained. We also had history made, title for title, when La Reina de Reinas Champion, Lady Fapashi, she defended against La Virtuosa. Diana Perazzo, the Knockouts Championship. And Diana now holds 2 belts. Will we see those 2 clash again? I highly think so. And of course, we'd be remiss if we did not talk about El Idolo, La Sombra, Andrade, giving us an instant classic with the clean of the best bout machine, Kenny Omega, with Ric Flair in El Idolo's corner. Let me say that again. Ric Flair in El Idolo's corner. Yep. People may not realize how fucking huge that is, not for just AEW, but for the wrestling industry, when you consider the legendary legacy of who truly is one of the best of all time. And then we later found out he's coming home to the NWA. So, with that being said, I want to get some thoughts regarding what happened at only, whether it's a match or a moment or a takeaway. I leave the floor open to all of you. Did any of you even see any of these matches or just
I have seen clips.
I did not see any of this.
I have seen clips of this shit. When Ric Flair came out on Triple Mania, of all places, with Andrade, I thought, wow. Man, if only Charlotte was out of that fucking prison, man. If only Charlotte was out of that prison.
Before anything else, Mike quote me on this. Ric Flair's all elite.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much
it's pretty much
confirmation. Again, I wait for the graphic, but I hear what you're saying. That being said, to go off what you said, James, Charlotte was backstage in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because Andrade did say he wants the family.
The next gentleman to become all elite will be Edge. Watch.
Oh my god.
Dude,
right?
can you imagine they go to fucking Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and all of a sudden in the fucking fans you go, "So you know me."
Well, yeah, they would have to obviously do their own dub.
I'm waiting for AEW to show up in Canada and bring out Marinello and Edge will be that prime signing. But again, so James, you
plug.
Now here's my
an LED bulb.
Now here's my question, Noah. If they do that and they get Edge to make the appearance, do they also get Tony Chimmel?
They have to.
Superstar.
He's a guy that has to introduce Edge. Nobody else like him. No other. Okay, that has to. We saw Mike Chioda come back and be involved in AEW in programs with Jericho and Cody and the TNT title. Again, you never know who could show up anywhere in this golden era of professional wrestling. Case in point. That being said, Deonna, of course, now is a double champion. So I gotta ask you all, with Bound for Glory coming up, Impact's next big pay-per-view, we'll talk about Impact shortly too, and the AAA logo coming up, do you see Deonna Purrazzo defending La Reina de Reinas championship against maybe Lady Habashi at Bound for Glory? What do you think they're gonna do with this title?
There's a number of things going on here, but I really do think all signs are pointing to Deonna's going to retain one or both championships somehow, some way. I think we're getting a women's take-all match at the NWA All-Women's Pay-Per-View. And I believe the two women involved in that are going to be Deonna Purrazzo and Britt Baker. And take my fucking money. I'm ready for this.
Again, James, to go with what you're saying, that is something, again, the wrestling industry is waiting to see happen. Kenny Omega literally being face-to-face with Deonna, who's a collector of her own right. Well, Omega was only holding one belt. And literally Britt said, bring
Christian thought of that.
Right. Well, let's talk about that too, since I don't think anyone else has any other thoughts on Superman. But if you can, please try and go check it out on Daily Motion. At least those matches, you will not be disappointed. Those were the three matches of the night for me. And no disrespect to AAA's inherited talent, I just don't fully understood everything. By the way, hearing Hugo Savinovich, that took me back.
Yeah, I bet. Before we get headlong into Impact, we're talking about fantasy, the possibility of the winner take all stipulation involving
Deonna Purrazzo and
the Doctor and the Virtuosa. Yes.
Why stop there? Make it a triple threat.
Why stop there? Get the Undertaker.
No, not the Undertaker. Not the Undertaker. Not the Undertaker.
Don't make me. I'll fucking summon him right now.
This is not King of Fighters. This is not King of Fighters. This is not King of Fighters. This is not King of Fighters All Stars. Put your phone back in your pants.
All right,
first off,
Casey.
I can summon the Undertaker right now.
All right, Michael, let's calm down. We're not trying to have an impromptu wrestling match here.
He's a bitch. Oh shit! Oh shit! No!
There's someone to say that to Mark Galloway's face and lift to tail the tail. That means that. Casey, what are you talking about? A triple threat? Who else do you involve in this program? I'm curious.
Does the name Serena Deeb ring any bells?
A professor. Oh, yes, because we've seen Serena Deeb give Bret Hitman Hart promo in the wheelchair, now out of it, talking about she is the woman of 1,000 holds. Her journey her challenge, her overall wrestling experience, and how she is who she is today. And she's ready to take on all, whether it's a bunny, a doctor, a virtual. She's called out everybody. You're absolutely right. A veteran, 26 years in the game. You're on to something there. But I gotta tell you, because as we move into our other wrestling shows, we talked about AAA, I'm gonna go into NWA since you did talk about that. With this legendary special, not about being first time, not about being the biggest name on the market, not about being, we have the biggest names here. No, this is a spotlight, a highlight of women's professional wrestling and why it should be more regarded equally and respected. We do know we're going to have, go ahead.
By the way, I think we're getting the finals, rumor has it we're going to get the finals of the Women of Honor tournament on the show as well.
And I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
That would be cool. That'd be cool. That's been a great tournament so far. They've gotten some great women from Stardom and mixed it in with the women they have on that roster. And
congratulations to Quinn McKay, who finally got her first win over Mandy Leon. Roxy is still my pick to win the whole thing, but there is so much incredible, promising talent. The Prodigy. There's so much incredible, promising talent in that tournament. Win or lose, I hope they do stand around and Ring of Honor to rebuild that women's division. And kudos to Maria for everything she's trying to do and bring back women's wrestling to Ring of Honor. Respect Ring of Honor, folks. It matters. But going back to NWA, we got AEW and Impact already presented on that show with 2-time matches already confirmed. We know the Virtuoso will defend the Knockouts Championship against Melina. And we know that Camille the Brickhouse will defend the NWA Women's World Championship, respect the Burke, against legit Layla Hirsch.
From
we
AEW.
Also know, that's right. We also know that Diamante will be there as well. Who knows who she might pick a fight with. And there will be an inaugural Women's Tag Team Championship tournament involving the likes of Connie King and Red Velvet, representing the Nightmare Family, and so much more. So, with that being said, I want to go around and get everybody's thoughts regarding this NWA special presented by Billy Corgan and Mickie James. Are you looking forward to it? What do you hope to see from it? What do you hope to feel or take away from it?
I will tell you right now, kudos to Mickie James for putting this together, and kudos to Billy Corgan for funding it. I'm sure Tony Khan and other promoters like Conan have a lot of thanks involved in this as well as H2O Delirious and all these other people. Thank God for actually giving a women's pay-per-view legitimacy instead of giving it because they went to country redacted. I'm glad we're actually getting the taste out of our mouths, number one. Number two, just all-around great decision to do this. And I hope Mickie James is somehow on this card as well. I know Mickie James is promoting the event, but would love to see her in a match somehow, some way, or at least on TV.
Mickie James versus Thunder Rosa.
Right now, Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb, and Mickie James are not scheduled in any in-ring participation on Empower. You might be onto something, but Mickie James will face Kylie Ray on NWA 73, the show right after Empower, where also the winner of the first ever Women's Invitational, a 10 women over the top rope / Battle Royale format, and I will have predictions on that in full later this week. The winner of that will face the winner of the NWA Women's World Championship, also on NWA 73. A lot of moving parts during Empower. That being said, Nicholas, do you have anything to say regarding this all-women's special presented by Mickie James and the NWA?
Not at the moment, no, but wherever they end up and however it fares, I hope it works in their favor, honestly. Things have been looking up recently, and I hope it keep it that way.
Okay. Go ahead, James.
I was going to just say, Mickie James, you done good, kid. Now, please, get your husband to stop being a stubborn prick, please. Okay, thank you.
The NWA World Champion over 1,000 days.
He's not wrong, though.
I get it. Again, strictly business. That's its own different flavor. Michael X, any thoughts you have regarding the women's pay-per-view? Like maybe you want to see win, maybe the tag or the invitational. Do you have any favorites, or who do you hope surprises you? There's a lot of unknowns on here too, which I know is the very special thing about this. We're gonna learn a lot about some new names in this industry that I don't think anybody's ever seen before. Any thoughts you have regarding this special?
Wow me. Ooh. For the first time ever, I don't care who's in it. I don't care what's going on. I want you to make me remember your fucking name. Don't just say, here's my family backstory, here's this, here's that. Give me a reason to give a shit.
Yep.
Now,
Mickie James gave you a reason.
You know, unless you're a member of the Hart Foundation, then I mean, absolutely. I mean, for fuck's sake, that's why this is a color option. And so is this. Ah!
And we got Daru Sandstorm going on, interesting. But I like that because, again, this is not about presenting that marquee name and undermining the rest on the show. This is about women's wrestling, bringing it more respect, more attention.
Show me what you have. Yep. Listen, I didn't know Kenny Omega for a fucking... I didn't know Kenny Omega through a hole in the wall till I saw one of his fucking matches, and it made me remember the name.
There you go.
Just because you can cut a fucking promo and talk for 20 minutes doesn't mean shit. I'll tell you right now, you don't need to see a promo by Rob Van Dam to know he's one of the greatest fucking athletes in the world, because he can't talk worth shit in WWE. Exactly.
No, in WWE, but different when he doesn't have a script.
Jeff Hardy. Edge's first fucking promo is terrible. The freaks come out at night. It's terrible. But you remember who he is because he's a fantastic fucking competitor. That's all that should matter.
Oh, good man.
Exactly. So let's
So hold on. Before we move on to Impact, Casey, any further thoughts regarding the Empire special? Like, what is ultimately your goal you want this show to accomplish?
Nikos and Mike said it for me. Big success, and put the spotlight on women's wrestling that it has needed for 50 years.
I agree. I agree with all you guys here.
I would have to semi-counter the point, Case, just to an extent. Because women's wrestling shouldn't need a spotlight. Women's wrestling should just be exactly what it is, which is it's fucking wrestling. Oh, and the competitors happen to be women.
Yeah.
Like you hit the nail on the head, man. You hit the nail on the head. If anybody watched that special sit-down interview with Mickie James and Billy Corgan on YouTube, that literally is the driving point of this entire special being developed and brought to us, professional wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Respect women's professional wrestling, and everybody out there, make women's professional wrestling matter. Not for yourself, but for anybody, new and old.
Exactly.
No question.
Now, really quick. We've talked about Bound for Glory. We've talked about Empowered. We've talked about NWA 73.
That's
AAA
right.
as well.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Are all of these available on Fight?
That is correct.
Yes.
There is a bundle for Empower and NWA 73. Bound for Glory will be available on Fight TV, of course. And, of course, you can buy AEW All Out on the BR Live app. As far as New Japan Pro Wrestling goes, you know how to get their specials, which might I add, they have a 2-day special come up the same weekend as All Out in MetLife Dome with Wrestle Grand Slam, being highlighted with marquee matches like Hiroshi Tanahashi, the new, spoiler alert, IWGP United States Champion, defending his title, first defense against a guy that is sure to give us an instant classic if you've seen their matches. Golden Star, Ibushi. Now, before we get deep into all that, let's switch gears into New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Shut up and take my yen, New Japan.
Well, how about you take the money first, because we are back in the Resurgence here in America, as we had a great special inviting the fans back to New Japan Pro Wrestling also this past Saturday with Resurgence. Matches that headline that include Yuji Nagata and Jon Moxley taking on the Good Brothers, and something that happened afterwards.
Which by the way, can I just say, Mox versus Yuji Nagata is still one of my favorite matches of the past year.
And that happened at AEW. That was so damn good. Yuji Nagata coming back to the States since oh my god, that was so incredible.
Years, bro.
Well,
decades.
The reason why he didn't come back is because that fucking Nightmare Company ran the monopoly on the entire industry.
Yeah.
So what would have been the point?
Hold on, I'll get it on for it.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm just saying, it's like when one company runs the entire income, what's the point?
There is no point, and that was the problem, and that's why people became complacent, content, and lapsed. I'll tell you guys my journey. Let me tell you a little story. In 1992, I was born into this crazy thing we call life. And it was in the hospital that I saw my first ever match. It was Bret the Hitman Hart versus the British Bulldog. And I was like, what is this? And my mom told me, this is professional wrestling. Ever since then, I've only wanted to grow, discover, be more involved, and watch professional wrestling, see what else it has to offer, and who else I could connect with that gives me that type of engagement as a fan, not only from a narrative standpoint, but in-ring athleticism. Because those are driving forces in professional wrestling, as well as psychology. Because professional wrestling is a science. It was back in 2002 where I started feeling like things don't feel as exciting, as organic, as variety as I felt, as it looked like literally I was seeing the same thing in out from these different wrestlers that were across these other promotions. And then I see like this guy and this woman being showcased like this and buried and not being used. I'm like, what am I watching here? This is WWE. I remember WWF, this is the WWE. So in 2002, I just flipped the channels and wondered what else could I get involved in. And I found game shows subtly. And then I found other promotions, starting with Ring of Honor, where I looked at matches with Raven, Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, The Kingdom, Mike, Matt, you name it. And then I find other promotions like friggin' New Japan Pro Wrestling, where I find classics like Yuji Nagata, Minoru Suzuki. I find Kenta Kobashi. I find freaking the wrestler himself, Shibata. I find Tomohiro Ishii. I find Shinsuke Nakamura. And then I find the Asylum and TNA. I find Taiji Muto. And then I find TNA and the Asylum, where I see AJ Styles. I see this crazy Elvis act. I see the man currently known as R-Truth, once known as a different name, Quet. And I see the NJPW gold in this. I see people coming to this promotion like Booker T, like freaking Christian Cage. And I'm like, what the hell have I been doing only looking at one fucking channel when I now see there is so much more in this world and life and passion that is professional wrestling. And ever since then, all I've ever tried to do is learn and find more in professional wrestling outside the big W. And here I stand today in front of you, 2021, and still that same fan today later.
Damn right. And when you saw this Bret Hart British Bulldog match, you were what, 3, 4?
2 years old.
Yeah, so Noah and I are right on around the same. And it was a Bret Hart match. Go figure, Mike.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
Hey, I'd like you to name another fucking wrestler who's had so many different matches with the same people.
And they're all different.
Now, I'm sorry for those that kind of got lost in my little tale of life as a professional wrestling fan, Michael X. But anyway, the point is, professional wrestling has grown and thrived and has a ton of variety, and there's still so much to talk about. So, going back to New Japan Pro Wrestling, the resurgence of the brand back here in America in front of the fans. It was a tremendous show. I don't know about y'all, but Tomohiro Ishii and Moose was my match of the night. Moose has proved to me that he could wrestle anybody. This is the guy whose parents said, you're not becoming a professional wrestler. You're going to college, going to football. And as soon as his football career is done, he immediately got into professional wrestling training, and look at where he is now. He truly is a 5-star athlete, and in my opinion, a future Impact World Champion. But before we go into Impact and all this type of stuff, I want to know, did any of you check out the Resurgence show? What was your thoughts, your moments, and your matches?
I've seen clips of it.
I still need to.
Yeah, I've seen clips of it. I have not seen a single clip, but I have heard great things about it. I love that they're using the Resurgence name and for 2 different fucking brands of wrestling. First for New Japan, now for Impact. I think that's a beautiful thing, honestly. That's great.
Well, it's kind of interesting how they both share a similar meaning. Resurgence is New Japan.
Oh, Resurgence, Emergence.
Is Impact Wrestling. Botched. But I get what you're talking about, because there's a premise about look at what has arrived, what has grown, what is becoming. Yes. Both shows demonstrating that. I get what you're saying. Yes. That being said, we have a new IWGP, spoiler alert, U.S. champion in Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Let's fucking
go! Ironically, the Murder Hawk literally loves every time he gets to beat the crap out of this guy and personally wants to do this rematch again, but wants to do it in AEW. The Ace simply said, I promised. So with that being said, you might see the Ace in AEW.
Come on over here!
Let's go!
But with that being said, that was New Japan Pro Wrestling, but that's not the only thing going on in New Japan Pro Wrestling, isn't it, Casey? As you and I probably are the strongest New Japan Pro Wrestling fans here. With the fall season coming up at G1 Climax 31, and certain names that you think would be and that we know won't be because of the America Tour. Jay White, Minoru Suzuki, Tomohiro Ishii, those names will not be involved, it seems, in this year's G1. This year's G1 is completely up in the air. Will Ospreay is not even going to be involved in it as he decided to make his home here in America. But that being said, Casey, we got to get through Grand Slam. We know we got a United States Championship match. We know we got IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. And we know Roppongi 3K is no more. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a singles fallout and one member goes to United Empire. But I want to dig into your mind. Give me your thoughts on the state of New Japan Pro Wrestling. What has excited you and what you hope to come?
Well, the big thing that's excited me is the expansion that Kenny Omega started. You might even call him the sacrificial lamb for what has gone on with New Japan since his departure. But the fact remains, for better or worse, the forbidden door has been kicked wide open, and I am all for it.
Could you imagine all the different companies that they have involved in this G1? Seriously, it's a legitimate possibility, guys.
Absolutely.
You've got. Didn't you say Moose was in this Resurgence show?
He took on Tomohiro Ishii.
What if
and
Moose is in the G1?
If Moose is in the G1, though, look out.
Sign my ass up. And again,
I'm ready, man.
again, Noah, ping me as soon as you are ready to do your preview video for the G1.
As soon as I know the field, you're the very first man I'm telling. It almost makes me wonder if we're going to find out maybe even at MetLife Dome, which literally is the same weekend as All Out.
Which got load up on friggin' first weekend of September.
Yeah, and this is after the NWA weekend, literally, too. Unbelievable. That being said, does anyone else have any thoughts, questions, or opinions about New Japan Pro Wrestling?
I have some thoughts, but it's not about New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think we're all set on New Japan, if I'm not mistaken, boys.
Then let's move into Impact Wrestling, if that's the case, James.
Before we move on to Impact Wrestling, I want to talk about an Impact Wrestling star. Mike, you're going to want to hear this because you're going to find this fucking hilarious.
Oh, boy.
And Mr. Matt Cardona. I want to have a segment on the rundown called Funny Wrestling Moment of the fucking Week because comedy exists, Cornette. Deal with it, you fucking mark. Anyway, the funniest moment this week was, everybody knows that Matt Cardona won the GCW Heavyweight Championship over Deathmatch King Nick Gage.
That's correct.
Now,
right.
I don't know, since this was lost in all of the CM Punk noise that was going on, there was another wrestling show that wasn't SmackDown and that wasn't, SmackDown, quote unquote, and that wasn't Rampage, right? It was GCW's indie show before all that. This happened like earlier on in the day.
Yes.
And Zack fucking Ryder comes out in Vince's ECW champion attire. I died. He came out in Vince McMahon's do-rag, fucking body black suit. He coming out here. Fans are flipping him off because they love the Gage. And he's fucking soaking it in, bro. That was the unsung shot to the CM Punk cake, was Matt Cardona's ECW inspired title.
So wait a minute, James. You said that show took place before. James, you said that show took place before all that, in reference to the shows that aired on Friday night.
Yes.
Is that the third name for the pay-per-view schedule? All in, all out, all that?
Yes. Yes.
God damn it, Casey.
Someone had to do it. Don't
legitimately.
Wow.
Funniest fucking thing I have seen. And the fact that Cardona Cardona, a person who got fucked more than even Punk got fucked.
Yeah.
Let's be fucking honest. I love Punk.
Looking at you, embrace the hate.
But a person who got so royally fucked, he knew what was happening over at AEW. He knew, and he wanted to get a little piece on that fuck Vince McMahon bandwagon.
Boy,
So he dresses up as the fucker when he was the ECW champion.
The only way that could have been any better is if he wore the 06 through 08 ECW championship belt to the ring.
Exactly.
Yeah, GCW is a close second.
Matt Cardona wants to bring back the Long Island IC show just to stick it to fucking Vince.
If you look at Impact Wrestling, he actually has worn gear with literally that name on the back.
Oh, fuck yes.
Fucking go after the fucking system, bro.
Speaking of which, let's
now
change
where's
gears
Brian
now.
Myers? Now where's Brian Myers when you need him?
Well, I mean, ironically, the most professional, as is known, with no longer the longest losing streak ever, we're going to talk about next as we go into Impact Wrestling. As last week, history has been the first ever Rampage where Christian became the new Impact World Champion, being the belt collector himself.
Dude, who the fuck saw that coming, by the way?
Nobody!
Nobody!
I didn't see that coming at all.
That shocked the shit out of me when he won that belt.
You talk about setting a precipice to what Rampage can do. And show you.
Rampage is must-see TV already, and it's the second episode in.
And so far, 2 episodes in, we've had a title change. We've had a women's classic with Britsburg. We've had a return after 2.5 years with Jamie Hayter, now All Elite. And we've had CM Punk.
And
now
also,
we're having a tag tournament on top of that.
Yep, and also, on a completely unrelated note. And, wait, Jingu Stadium? Seriously?
What? Jingu Stadium?
I swear I heard you say Jingu Stadium.
No. I said Daniel Garcia, by the way.
Daniel Garcia.
Oh, Daniel Garcia. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, Daniel Garcia
anyway,
is a terrible wrestler. Anyway, continue.
Yes. Anyway, a completely unrelated note. The other great thing we have, I'm looking at you, Noah, and I see that your mustache has grown out enough to the side where you can twirl it like Snidely Whiplash. That is fucking hilarious to me.
He's the new mustache mountain, confirmed.
Well, to be fair,
Noah Foster, the essence of mustachioed magnificence.
To be fair, NXT UK is the only brand that matters to me because it's the only brand that feels like professional wrestling. By the way,
for now, wait, just wait.
I know. James, I'm on camera.
The wheels are falling off, bro.
The day NXT UK goes away is the day I officially leave.
I can tell you. The minute Brock Lesnar signed to AEW, Walter goes. That's the end of NXT UK. See ya. Bye.
We'll see.
That is my wild card for when AEW tries to get the next big star. I said, it's Lesnar. And if they do that, Walter, follow suit.
Yeah,
dude, that's going to be
probably will. Anyway,
Chops versus suplexes.
Yep.
I would go fucking mental if the day the Imperium shows up.
Absolutely. Great comp on AEW television service.
In a world defined by faction warfare with similar vibes of New Japan Pro Wrestling, anything is possible.
Or if you're a true wrestling fan,
All Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah, that's where it really started.
It is where it really started. I feel people forget about that. Why people talk about more professional wrestling, Noah, and New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Motherfucker, you should never forget about the greatest heel of all time, Stan the goddamn man Hansen.
Dude, he's Mr. Larry Anto. Who you talking to? Come on.
Anyway,
a gentleman that should join the revolution.
That being said, Michael, I love you wearing an All Japan Pro Wrestling shirt because let's go into Impact Wrestling because this past Thursday, talk about a clash of companies in a big house fight. All Japan Pro Wrestling's former Big Joe Doring taking on Luke Gallows, New Japan Pro Wrestling, in an absolute madhouse of a big man match, similar to Godzilla
fucking horse fight.
Michael,
dude.
I want you to specifically talk about this match and give me your thoughts on it as an All Japan Pro Wrestling fan. What did you think of it?
Joe Doring, brother. How do you feel?
I
mean, drinking Pepsi.
The dude's a freak. The dude's a freaking freak.
Yeah, he's a freaking nature, bro. By the way, who dead? Is that your dad? Where's the blue? Get the blue!
You know what's fucked up?
What?
That's soothing.
Yeah.
I bet, yeah, probably. Ladies and gentlemen, if you couldn't tell, Noah had to go and get some ice after I asked him that dumb question. So we are actually on a commercial break. When we come back, we will be talking about Impact Wrestling, along with Impact Resurgence. So don't go anywhere.
Future of Wrestling podcast, yeah. Nobody else could do it like us. Future of Wrestling podcast. Nobody else could do it like us, yeah. Who could really run this podcast? Nobody here could do it like us, yeah. Who is here can run this podcast? Nobody here can do it like us. We take WWE 2K, make it a wrestling show. The commentary added, man, it's best you know. Nobody can take it better than us. Nobody can ever do it, it's tough. If you wanna listen to the best, nothing else you got, yes. Recognize the time that we on, this is the time we respond. If you listen to the Future of the Wrestling podcast, understand that we on. Every debate, every commentary, just to make the status rapping loud and clear. I don't think you really talking, you aware that nobody feel you'll ever be there. And if you talking with
Hibiki TMD on YouTube, Retro Gaming, Pro Wrestling, Podcast, Terry Bollea, Hibiki Honors, Hibiki Quickie, everything in between. Hit that subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. And hey! Watch out for pedestrians, pal! You on the bike! Slow down! Hit that subscribe down below. Check us out at the Hibiki TMD on Twitter, Hibiki TMD on YouTube. Oh, the goddamn goodness.
If you like the content that you saw today, make sure you check out For the Win Productions and subscribe to the affiliates of this conglomerate. A Simple Man Studios, Insanity Works Studios, Genelee's Beauty Slam, J. Hebert Studios, Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated, Owen the Talkinator Studios, and of course, Weymouth Youth Wrestling. All in the J. Hebert Side 95 modules. Subscribe today.
So yeah, Impact Wrestling had, of course, one hell of a big hoss fight with All Japan Pro Wrestling's Joe Doring and Big LG Luke Gallows representing the Good Brothers, of course, representing New Japan Pro Wrestling, and good grief almighty, those two men go further than I expected. Joe Doring, an absolute freak, representing by Design. Yes. That being said, also on Impact Wrestling, Christian Cage finally made his return back to the Impact Zone and humbly respected the past and honored it and retired it as we focus strictly on the present and Impact Wrestling's future. Yep. We also, of course, have Melina bring in herself in her in-ring debut. Very impressive, by the way.
So cool to see her. So cool to see her. Man.
With also a returning Brandy Lauren after 4 years.
You talking about Melina Perez?
Melina Perez.
That's correct.
Son of a bitch.
Eminem, Lucha Underground, multi-time women's champion. You know what I'm talking about. And, of course, the person that will challenge Deonna Purrazzo and Power. So that being said, let's talk about this week in Impact Wrestling before Emergence. Any takeaways or thoughts from this past episode? Melina's debut, Joe Doring, and Luke Gallows. Michael X, I expect you to talk about that. Nothing else.
I think Doring and Gallows is probably my favorite because it's two big hosses from All Japan and New Japan going at it. Fucking more of that, please. I think Mike can agree with my sentiment there as he's going blue dubba die. And yeah, man, I'm pink. I am Bret Hart.
I got my head kicked in by Goldberg tonight.
Oh no.
Well, that's likely going to happen sooner rather than later. But that being said,
Poor Bobby Lashley.
Please. What is everybody's thoughts regarding TNA and how we finally have retired, it seems, not only that title, but that name as we focus on Impact, as Christian Cage humbly alluded to. What was everybody's thoughts regarding that?
I think it's just one step closer into an eventual full-on AEW merger. Guarantee it. They're already partners now. They're going to go for some new initials. Instead of TNA, it will be AEW soon enough. And I think this is a very good step in that direction. I thought that was a really classy thing that Christian did, retiring the past and looking towards the future. The only thing I didn't like about that, and I assume it's a fucking roast towards all this, so I kind of understand the pettiness a little bit, but it's like they didn't recognize him as the NWA World's title, which I think is the most prestigious belt that Christian won. Instead, he was a former Impact champion, but no, it was the NWA World's title. You know, I wish they did mention that, but I understand why, if it was because they were like, hey, Aldis, stop being a stubborn prick and come over here and work with us. Come on. Like, you want to be the world's champion? Come over here.
Aldis did not were out working with Tony Khan at AEW, so I'll have to wait and see. I keep saying it. I want to see Dustin Rhodes challenge Nick Aldis for the 10 pounds of gold. And possibly win
that's
it.
a shout. I'd watch that. I
You guys know how much I honor and respect the Rhodes name, and especially Dustin Rhodes and his legacy.
The natural motherfucker.
Damn right, I met him in Cleveland. God bless you, Dustin
Wait,
Rhodes.
you met him?
And Rhodes Wrestling Academy. Oh, yeah.
Son of a bitch. How is he?
Oh, he's great, and he was very humble with the respect I showed him and how much I followed his career. I talked about some of his greatest matches, and I congratulate him on his new academy. By the way, folks, if you want to try and find your passion, sign up for Rhodes Wrestling Academy. Go check out their stuff on YouTube. Incredible showcase.
Also, by the way, 2019, Double or Nothing. I still can't.
That match is
Cody versus Dustin match. Winner of Match of the Year 2019 from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Well deserved. Still love that match.
All over in 2019.
I still watch that. I still go back and rewatch that Double or Nothing, particularly for that match alone.
We went from Dustin and Cody.
Blame you.
Dustin and Cody, Omega, Jericho, Young Bucks, Lucha Brothers. Now we got CM Punk all the way, all that time later, bro.
Right.
Fucking wild what 2 years can do. Fucking wild.
It is wild.
Back to Impact, too, as I said, you know, going back to that, like, the fact that Christian retired the championship, really respectfully as well. I thought it was a well-deserved moment for not only Impact as a brand, but also AEW, when it comes to its classiness. That was really, really well done by all parties involved there, and shout out to Christian Cage and shout out to everybody involved. That was awesome.
Now was this on Impact this past?
Yeah, that was a really good segment. I watched that. I watched that right before Rampage. That was a really good segment.
I know they're on a whole bunch of different platforms. They're on
Twitch and Access TV.
Yep.
They're on Twitch and Access TV right now.
Nope, no longer Twitch. No longer Twitch. It's YouTube. And you become an insider. You actually can watch the monthly specials straight through YouTube, which segues into Friday night's Emergence. I watched it through YouTube as an Impact insider, and all it was a paid chat room. It was the most non-toxic, wholesome chat I've ever been in YouTube on.
Hold on a second.
You're a wrestling fan. What do you mean you were in a non-toxic chat room? That's impossible. That means your ideas are different than mine.
It's almost like the people that say that they make wrestling toxic are actually WWE elitists. I'm just saying.
You think that wasn't...
James, I have no idea what you're
talking about.
about.
Hold on, let Casey go. Let Casey go first.
Noah, you say that was a non-toxic chat room? You have obviously never been in a Ring of Honor chat room.
Oh my god. Back in the day. Dude, Ring of Honor chat rooms back in the day were like Halo chat rooms. fucking ruthless.
I got one better. Ring of Honor chat rooms are like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 chat rooms.
You're getting into hostile territory.
Yes, but It was also the most hilarious thing I've ever been a part of.
It was basically just a roast night every night for somebody. Anyway, Mike, you were saying.
Yeah, go back, Mike, to challenging what I was saying about being an Impact insider.
It's nice to finally have the ability to talk to athletes and other individuals that are, passionate about the same shit that we are, and they're not sitting there going, "Yeah, but fuck you."
Yeah, I'm bigger than you. I'm in the Fed. I'm the former WWE champion.
You only like CM Punk because he won the title for a year. You only like what you like because I tell you what you like.
Okay, Bill Cosby. Anyway.
Zoobly Bob.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wanted the roofie in the drink.
Oh, God.
Okay, way off topic. Way off topic.
Go ahead.
Did anybody check out Emergence or any matches from it at all?
I have not had the opportunity.
I have not had the opportunity. I will.
Seconds.
Honestly, Noah, I probably will for next month's rundown. I will probably give my thoughts there because obviously we're going to be talking more about the bigger news, and this is the format, Like sometimes not everybody's going to go for everybody, but yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out after the rundown's over for sure.
Well, again, the rundown's about talking wrestling. It's just analyzing wrestling, looking back at wrestling. In my case, I just watch all things wrestling, which apparently I watch a lot more than all of you at one time.
Bro, this is why we have you as the host.
I'm humbled by that, but at the end of the day, I'm not better than anybody. I'm just equal and a simple man and a lifelong fan of pro wrestling, and happy to chat with you. But when you see Emergence, I gotta tell you one thing. If you do not think that Jake Something can be a future X Division champion after what you see him and Josh Alexander do, you are stuck in gear stupid. That's going to be a match year candidate for you. So
now
enjoy that match.
Now please change the last name other than Something, and I'll actually be able to be friends with you. Get fucked.
Hey, wait a minute. That's my line, you fucking asshole.
Yes,
yeah, you. I'm pointing at you now because you're the fucking... James, what if we turned it into a 3D screen? How terrifying would somebody be if I'm like, you're the fucking asshole?
Okay, well now you're trying to be like WWE and their augmented reality. Don't do that.
Home.
That's
Phone home.
But yeah, being an Impact insider and literally interacting with fans and Impact Wrestling themselves is so wholesome and fun. What?
Schmaker!
Oh, I'll be darned. Congratulations.
It'll be very nice.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Paul Mead. Congratulations, Arcade Pro, the new tag team champions. Anyway.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, right. Who gives a dang? But anyway, like I said, if you can become an Impact Insider, it's a great way to support Impact Wrestling. It's a lot easier to watch the monthly specials than trying to navigate the Impact Plus app that sometimes delays or don't happen automatically. Yeah. And literally, the in-chat during the shows, you're talking live with Impact Wrestling. So it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it.
Good stuff, man. I can't wait. What if that's
are you saying,
things to come for AEW?
No, are you saying that a good idea was good?
What?
Are you saying that a good idea was good?
Yeah. We would have thought that was
possibly
in wrestling.
Everybody do your best Toriano. Everybody do your best Toriano because this is unprecedented.
Okay.
No. I got a better one. Everybody do the fuck.
Oh, I accidentally fucked up. Guys, I kind of fucked up. Somebody's on his way to. Oh shit! Oh shit! No!
That's a good way to close this. As Michael X rests in peace, I leave the floor now open to all of you. Any closing thoughts regarding anything this past week of professional wrestling and what's to come this week too?
Bro,
Mikey Nichols, I'll start with you.
Go for it, Nikos.
Let's see. What's today's date? The 21st?
Yeah.
What's today?
Saturday.
SummerSlam?
Yes.
Yeah,
Guess what we're not
wanna
watching.
see how that goes over well. Short answer, it's not.
I'm just going to say this real quick. One thing. We do not hate the wrestlers, the actual wrestlers.
Yes,
in
yeah.
WWE
I want to make
that are restrained by politics, corporate greed, corruption, and depression.
Absolutely.
We are simply
Yep.
against WWE because of that structure. There's a reason why people watch the wrestling industry, but they know they can get in trouble for it, and they don't care. Literally, Tommaso Ciampa, after CM Punk did that, simply said goosebumps, and the tweet has already been deleted.
Preach. Thank you for pointing that out.
We really need to address the humongous elephant in the room.
You forgot about number 5.
What's number 5?
No control.
That's very true as well.
Tonight,
anyway, continue.
Like tonight, if anyone has the balls enough to see SummerSlam, yeah, there is not going to be any control left. Just keep an eye on the fans. If anything changes,
oh my god, I bet the fans are fucking hijacked the show already in Chance.
Oh, they are.
Las Vegas.
I wish I
hijacked the show.
Hey, Paul, did you hear any chance of CM Punk so far yet? Okay, so not quite yet. There's only been one match so far, so all right.
That will happen at some point.
Well, give it time.
Anyway, anything else, Nicholas, before we move on to Mike?
What professional wrestling is doing now, keep up the great work, because there is some magic to be told here that will last for generations in the name of professional wrestling and not sports entertainment. Professional wrestling should always be a treasured sport. And the direction that they're going with this now, honestly, keep it up. Let the wheel turn in the right direction.
Damn fucking right.
I respect that.
I'm getting a word from a disgruntled WWE fan. They have this to say in a minute.
What?
Why are you not what the WWE is doing? You see, this is sports entertainment. Are you not sports entertainment?
And James, my response to that, leave that shit at the park, okay?
Alright.
I got one for you, Nikos. Leave that shit on the changing table, because your ass needs to finally get a good fucking wiping of the garbage that's on your ass.
Change your diaper while you're at it, too.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Lionheart. Executioner, anything to add regarding professional wrestling this week and what's to come?
Okay, I got one for you.
Go for it.
And it's going off of what Nico said to an extent. It's nice to finally see professional wrestling doing something that was done in the 1970s, done in the 1980s, done partially in the 1990s, and even done during the early 2000s, which was called long-term booking.
Yep.
It's fucking crazy to me that long-term booking and companies going, let's not dick each other over
is successful.
And just do what's going to make us about 5 times the amount of money possible, which I think it's hilarious, by the way, that me and Nikos are wearing NWO shirts, but our representation is fucking NWO Japan style. Because A, greater faction, B, greater faction, C, greater faction.
All right, then. Fair enough. Well, thank you for that. Casey, anything to add in regards to professional wrestling this past week and what's to come?
Before I get into that, I do have a quick question for you, Noah. Just to recap for myself, the 3 big events you recommend that we watch, is it Triple Mania, freaking Resurgence, and Empowered?
That's 4. That's 4.
There's 4 events. There's Triple Mania, there's New Japan Resurgence, Impact Wrestling Emergence, and what's coming up, NWA Empower.
All right, and all of those will be available on Fight. Is that correct?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome.
Fight TV. Fight TV.
Fight TV.
Fight TV. Fight TV. Fight TV.
It's good. when it works. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
Please fucking
Yep.
work. Please fucking
Please
work.
fucking work.
Please fucking
Well,
work. Please
with
fucking
with that wish, James, anything further to add regarding this week and what's to come in professional wrestling?
Oh man, pro wrestling, and I'll start it how I ended it, man. The forbidden door's been kicked wide open. Anything and everything can happen in the world of professional wrestling, and not in sports entertainment. Okay, sports entertainment can no longer hold that moniker. That candle has been passed to pro wrestling, and the heart of that candle is AEW, and CM Punk is the shining light that is that candle. So,
if I may,
Punk.
Yep. If I may, James,
go for it.
The best way to sum it up: professional wrestling has finally turned a corner,
and it's finally back in pop culture where it fucking belonged forever.
In a much bigger, more reachable, recognizable light.
Thank you,
Because
CM Punk. And
professional
welcome back.
wrestling has always been there, but it's been just in the shadows of Twisted Tea. It's because it was the only thing that seemed to have been out there. And now AEW is finally bringing you professional wrestling. It is not the alternative. It is professional wrestling. The alternative has now become truly the WWE. Because that's not professional wrestling. That is literally sports entertainment. And the wrestlers in there are trying to give you pro wrestling, but they cannot do it because of the restraints that lie within the corporate structures. At the end of the day, do not hate those
entertainment.
Do not hate those that work in sports entertainment just to provide for their families because they are wrestlers that are trying to bring you pro wrestling. Wish them the best when they get out on their own terms. So at the end of the day, you gotta make sure you're happy, but you're able to provide for your families. So with that being said, I look at pro wrestling like this: an incredible past week with Triple M Mania, Emergence, Resurgence, and CM Punk back on Rampage, pay-per-view level Dynamite. Cannot wait to see what's next across all of these fronts and platforms. Looking forward to my next All Elite week and Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and of course, we got coming up this coming weekend, NWA Empower and NWA 73, both of which, of course, I will be watching, and so much more. There is so much to enjoy in professional wrestling. So just try and do it. And that's all I really got to say about that. So, with that being said, unless anyone else has anything to say or a closer, I literally will say, see y'all next time on the Wrestling Rundown for all things professional wrestling and not entertainment. Take care.
And before we end this podcast officially, if you want to check out all things FTW Production, down below in the description, here on the iCard, at the end screen, after this damn podcast. Make sure you subscribe, turn that post notification bell on. This ain't no copy and paste YouTube bullshit anymore, motherfuckers. This is real. Pro wrestling's back. We're at the heart of it. We're going to cover it. And to all those WWE wrestlers that are stuck in that shit sports entertainment company, I say this before Mike has to say it. Hey, Keith Lee, come on in when your contract expires. Adam Cole, come on in. Hey, even Baron Corbin, come on in. We got cookies and milk. Let's go. Come on in, boys. Come on in, girls.
AEW is the A show now.
Yeah, I'm right, it is.
It's been that way since the last 2 years it's been on. It just has been an addition for me with Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, NWA, and the one brand I still care about related to this name, NXT UK. May Ayla, Valkyrie, and Ginny give me a classic to remember.
Allow me. I got one. Within pro wrestling, there is no longer an A show or a B show. There is just the show.
Damn right. Mike, anything? Any closing remarks? You said you had something to say.
I did. Hey, Noah.
Yo.
You gonna join the Indie Force? We're taking fucking applications.
You damn right.
And just like the NWO, we're fucking taking over.
It all comes down to time management with me, but I'm happy to help any way I can, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure.
The pleasure's been ours.
On behalf of the Indie Force, I am the Simple Man and Life on Fan Pro Wrestling. My name is Noel Foster. Thank you for tuning in once again to the Wrestling Rundown. See y'all next time.
Take that work week off, 5 days in the bucket. Fuck it, you got a boss who's a jerk who doesn't. Throw on some Wu-Tang, bring the motherfucking ruckus. There is no pretext. We are living and we love it on a budget. Never mind, we just nudge it to the side. Give the kids a little time. We are living till we die. Focused and we hustle, but we still be getting high. No exception to the rule. Do what you do to get by, cause I keep ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my